Hey, Blazers lost last night, and they're probably going to lose again tonight.
12-point dogs tonight.
Second of a back-to-back after a really long road trip, one game home. And then, boom, down to the Bay Area tonight for the Golden State Warriors. But last night was Bill Walton night. It was cool to turn that game on and see all the tie-dye. Mm-hmm. And the tie-dye headbands were a nice little touch that the Blazers gave away. Mm-hmm. But Bill Walton night on the night, his son Luke was coaching for the Pistons. Really cool to honor the legend himself.
Yeah, they had a Grateful Dead tribute band play at halftime.
Awesome.
The crowd was very, very much into it.
Anybody spark up in the old, maybe that was a 300 level thing?
Yeah, you know what? It didn't get too loud in there. I will tell you, post-game, every home game, it gets loud in there. You can smell it every single game.
Really?
Every single game.
Huh.
Yeah.
Just people smoking weed in the arena?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Been to a couple Dave Matthews Band concerts there, and yes, that is a thing.
Well, yeah, a Dave Matthews concert, a little bit different than the hometown team playing there 41 nights a year.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. No, it was a really cool night. The extended Walton family was in a suite. For those that don't know, Bill Walton in his passing in his will, last testament, final planning type stuff, stated that he did not want to have a funeral or a celebration of life or a tribute or anything of like he said he didn't want to be the center of attention. So the Walton family, while put up on the board, they put the spotlight on them and say thank you for being here. They weren't front and center. They weren't speaking or anything like that. Luke was not made available and like did anything along those lines in respect to their
dad's final wishes.
Yeah, which some people are like, I wish they would have done a little bit more. There is a reason why. Like,
yeah,
I had a couple people ask me, how was it last night? And I was like, it was really good. And they're like, well, it felt like it was good, but they could have done a little bit more. But it's like, no, Bill didn't want that. It's not. It's not what that. I will say he made that decision in March or May of last year when his health started to fade. Just kind of how he wanted to go about it, and they respected that. But I thought
which is so weird for a guy who always was the center of attention.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I thought they did a really good job. The Blazers staff up and down outside of the coaching staff and the front office all had tie-dye Blazers shirts on. And it was the old vertical text that used to say Blazers, but instead it said Walton with the 32. So like all of the camera crews and Todd Bosma and the game ops, and
that was cool to see.
Yeah, it was a very cool, subtle tribute, and basically every timeout through the first, I think, 18 minutes had some sort of Walton related thing. And Lionel Hollins, his friend and former teammate with the Portland Trail Blazers, won the title of the 77 team. Spoke for about 20 minutes pregame, and Lionel was really good. And one of the questions he was asked was, what do you miss most? And he just said, I miss my friend.
Yeah.
The night before, Walton's teammates gathered together and had a reunion and remembered their friend. And, we're 50 years removed from that title nearly. And look, I mean, they've lost a lot of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's nice that Lionel's still around and Bobby Gross is still around, but Mo's not around. David Lucas, Maurice Lucas' son, did the Jamba Juice competition where they shoot 3 free throws and win Jamba Juice for the arena kind of deal. And I thought it was cool because David went out there wearing his dad's old shooting shirt.
Oh, cool.
I was like, that's for those also that don't know, Luke Walton is named for Maurice Lucas. That Maurice Lucas is one of Bill's best friends.
Kind of tight.
I mean, it was a bond that was unbreakable to the point of naming his son after him. And I thought the Blazers hit all the right notes in doing enough, but respecting the family's wishes and Bill's final wishes.
Yeah.
It was just a really, really cool night, and the headbands ruled.
The headbands were awesome.
Look, they even I put mine
touch
on for the post game show. It may have cut off the blood flow to my head because I have an enormous noggin. If you wear a 7 or 5/8 or larger hat, or I should say a 7 3/4, the headband's going to cut off blood flow. But other than that,
it was a good job by the Blazers.
Yeah, all in all,
I was wondering why they weren't making Luke like a bigger deal.
Yeah, And that's why I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that.
Yeah,
It wasn't the Blazers like cheapening out or going short on this.
No.
These were Bill's wishes.
Should have like put out a press release that says, "I don't want this." And
Yeah.
just like Bill Walton. And be like, "We're doing it anyway, damn it."
Yeah.
But it was cool. I thought they did a really good job on the broadcast of highlighting Bill Walton, his importance, man, and the kind of legacy he has. But I mean, it was all about the teammates, and he always talked about that. Like it was always about the teammates, the teammates, the teammates. Guys in the NBA, they're still close, and guys in professional sports are close. It was a different world back then.
Yeah.
With how close they were, because like guys now in professional sports are like, they don't understand, people don't understand what it's like to be, a millionaire, right? It was like, people don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Back then.
Again, like, Lionel Hollins made a reference to, and I thought that was kind of the touch point of how important that team was to this city. There was some, let me talk my S from Lionel Hollins, and he backed all of it up of like, look, this was a team that, until, we came together was on solid footing. It was an outpost in the Northwest, way away from everything. And we know that there were times that, this organization may have gotten moved. Like that was a real thing. Like Paul Allen and coming in and purchasing the franchise was what stopped any of that talk. But there was all of this stuff around it. And he goes, we were responsible for Blazer Mania.
Yep.
We were responsible for Rip City. I mean, during the 77 title run, they were running closed circuit broadcasts of the title run in theaters because they were still tape delayed. It wasn't until 83 with Magic and Bird that the NBA went live. But the most important features of this franchise were brought together in that title team. Not just winning the title, but it's Bill Walton, it's Maurice Lucas, it's Lionel Hollins, it's Bob. Like, look, the Blazers have retired too many numbers, but they've retired those numbers because of how important that team was.
Yeah.
And not just the title, but everything that came out of it with Rip, with Rip City from Sean's, and the energy that came out of that team when they started doing the barnstorming tours around the state of Oregon. And he talked about how, we became the Pied Pipers. We would go from one school to another on these trips in the summertime, and the kids from the school we visited in the morning would be at the next school in the afternoon, and then the next school on the later that night. Like, it took over the state, and people still talk about it. And he goes, the sellout streak started with us. The sellout streak started with us,
and it ended far before the Blazers acknowledged it ended.
Yeah. It ended in 91. Like, that's, but I mean, they went 20 years.
Yeah.
He talked about, you had parents willing their season tickets to their kids. And that's the kind of thing. I think the only other place in sports where you found that kind of relationship where it dominated everything for so long is the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I mean, like, that actually happens. Willing your season tickets.
I'm not talking about the willing, but I'm talking about like the bond that was there in a small town.
No,
just outpost.
It was different.
It was different. It was just so different. This isn't New York. This isn't LA. It's not Chicago. It's not any Texas team. It's a small town. Because remember, in Portland back in the 70s, man, that's an outpost.
And the only reason why they won it is because the ABA-NBA merger.
Yeah. You get Mo and you draft Bill.
Maurice Lucas and Bill Walton got teamed up because of the ABA-NBA merger. And when Maurice Lucas joined the team, it changed. Mm-hmm. Everybody says it changed.
And you talk about Bill and, the pantheon of Blazers greats. And my co-host, Joe Simons, on Rip City Wrap Up, he goes, I'm never going to begrudge, and I hold the same view. If you think Bill Walton is the greatest Trailblazer of all time, you can absolutely say that, regardless of how short his time was here. He is the only player to win an NBA Finals, a Finals MVP, and an MVP.
Pretty significant.
I mean, how many organizations have that guy? It's a short list, man. It's a short list.
The Bulls?
I mean,
the Lakers?
Yeah, Celtics. It's generational.
Rockets.
It's generational teams.
Yeah.
Generational franchises. It's a short list, man. So I thought the entire night was very cool. Blazers handled it incredibly well. Unfortunately, they fall to the Pistons 119-112 in what was one of the worst officiated games I think I've ever seen in person.
Oh, you need to go to more like low level.
Oh no, NBA games. NBA games.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like they screwed over the Blazers. It was just atrocious
bad.
for both teams.
Just clunky, start and stoppy. Yeah.
Just god awful. I talked to a couple Pistons players and coaches, a couple Blazers players and coaches. How do you think that game is officiated? And I got a lot of side eye.
Well, yeah, it was not good.
No, everybody was like, it was trash.
Yeah. Well, one more night tonight. Blazers only got what, 17 more?
Yeah, 17 more games, man, and 7 of those next 8, including tonight, are at home.
Oh, okay.
So they go off that brutal 9 games in 9 different cities, and then they get 7 straight at home.
Okay. Well, I didn't even care about the game. I was just watching some Bill Walton content last
Look,
night. And Cade Cunningham's really fun.
Oh, Cade Cunningham's really good. And tell you what, though, that Pistons team, they are going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
They really are. They really are.